Pokemon Legends Z to A is the new real-time combat entry in Game Freak's timeless RPG series. The Legends games take the classic turn-based RPG and places the player on the field of battle alongside their lovable pocket monsters. This new entry takes players back to Kalos, specifically its capital city of Lumiose, the Pokemon franchise's stand-in for Paris. But just because players may recognize Lumiose and even some of its inhabitants, don't assume this is the same game as XY. This is not the future of Pokemon. If anything, it might be the end of it. As I said before, the Legends spin-off games eschew the classic turn-based combat for a more real-time experience. Or do they? While fighting, it becomes clear that while each equipped ability has a cooldown and can be triggered at will, there are still turns taking place in the back end, and combat actions for allies and enemies alike are queued up. So it's not real-time. It's place your DoorDash order before your enemy and hope your order arrives first. This also includes player actions like healing Pokemon. Speaking of player actions, being on the field next to the fight means that the player is involved. Take more than a couple hits and it's game over. AI for the player's current active Pokemon doesn't do a great job of getting in between the player and enemies. So this game ends up being a lot of Dark Souls dodge rolling in the toughest battles. Considering players can only heal their Pokemon and not themselves, this can lead to some really frustrating moments. Catching Pokemon is easier than ever. Many smaller Pokemon can be captured without weakening them, and unlike previous entries, when a wild Pokemon is defeated, it stays staggered for a moment. This is the intended capture state in the game. Not a low health bar, an empty health bar. It's easy to just steamroll all wild Pokemon with your beefed up starter and then proceed to catch. It lacks any strategy, but maybe that's as intended. I will say the best quality of life update this game has is its Pokeball boys at each Pokemon Center. No longer will missed throws mean wasted money. Every thrown Pokeball that goes unused can easily be reacquired and used again. I wish I could say at least the city is fun to explore, but it isn't. This city looks like a penitentiary, which it kind of is. Lumiose City is undergoing urban redevelopment with the intention of creating a more harmonious living environment for both people and Pokemon. The problem is, this manifests as strange cordoned-off ghettos called wild zones where Pokemon have taken over normally inhabited areas. Seriously, people just leave their cars. Although, no one apparently drives in Lumiose. Or walks. Everyone is just kind of standing around waiting for your interaction. There's almost no ambient sound either, so if players turn off music, they hear this. Lumiose is a liminal ghost town. How can a metropolitan city be so filled with living things and feel so horrifyingly empty? As a very loose reference to Parisian parkour culture, most of the rooftops are accessible through climbing or elevators. Players can eventually glide from one roof to another, but most paths up and across the rooftops are very linear and specific. Not open to free exploration like an Assassin's Creed game. Also, because Lumiosians can move easily between roofs in the street, some of these buildings have parks and social areas in just about the most unnatural, unbelievable ways one could dream up. Another part of the urban redevelopment is the Z to A Royale, which every night turns a couple blocks of Lumiose City into a fighting space for Pokemon trainers. I'm not sure who first came up with the idea that a fight to the last man standing type of conflict should be the way to fix the city, but it's probably the same guy that came up with the Purge. There isn't much story to this game other than helping some locals deal with their Pokemon problems. But what are Pokemon problems, really? How can we force animals to fight, get hurt for our entertainment, even do our jobs for us, and expect a gracious response? Is this what we want to teach children? I enjoyed Pokemon myself as a kid like 30 years ago, but that was a very different time. It was also paired with an immensely popular cartoon show featuring a loving story between a child and his Pikachu best friend. Not pet, best friend. There's none of that love on display in this game, just people using animals for their own selfish goals. In comparison, I think back to my time in Pal World, which recently received litigation from Nintendo and Game Freak. Only them for some reason. Even though there are a dozen popular monster collecting games, maybe more. My time in Pal World was exponentially better, and so much more care goes into making sure the animals get what they need. Yes, they can help you accomplish your goals, but not without a little love and attention. Maybe an assault rifle too. Nintendo needs to shape up or ship out. Palworld will not be the last challenger, and they can't just sue everybody. Even Japan's patent office is calling BS on some of their claims. Is it possible to just make a better game? Looking at trailers for Game Freak's next title, it's clear they aren't the ones holding Pokemon back. Here's looking at you, Nintendo. Thanks for watching. Are you a fan of Pokemon? I find that most fans have an era of Pokemon that supersedes all others, and it's usually a different answer for everybody. Let me know your favorite Pokemon games and TV series in the comments, and subscribe to Hekaton today.